Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi. I'm this is the designing the discussions that work online. All right. I'm Timothy here. There is some feedback, so I would ask you to just mute your microphone. Okay. This is going to be like a train ride. I tested it yesterday, and I'm 41 minutes in my very speedy self. So I hope everyone had a good morning. All right. I'm gonna start now, because if I don't start, I don't think I can finish by 10:30. Hi Lei Hong. All right. I won't finish by then. So I'm just gonna go straight in. All right. So thank you for coming, and we're gonna go straight in. Okay. So this is the Designing Online Discussions That Work, Timothy Wong, Monash University Malaysia. What am I going to do today? All right. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what is MEB tutorial discussion, what teaching strategies, a little bit of what we do for the MEB discussion. And then 3 things I'm going to highlight, which is helpful for online discussions. All right. Yeah, so what is MEB? All right, a lot of people ask me that, So it is Monash English Bridging. Okay. It is a Monash College pre-tertiary course, and it is specially targeted for students who can't meet the requirement to go into Monash University Malaysia or Monash University Australia. And sadly, it is 20 weeks, and I meet them every day. And we just had our first online 20 days. But right now, I'm going to talk about the online one. Sorry, the face-to-face. Okay, so what do we do? So these are some of the skills we do for the entire MEB program. All right. But today, I'm just going to highlight on this. Okay, communicate effectively in social conversations, academic discussions, and presentations. All right. Okay. So first of all, the face-to-face. What we do face-to-face. I've been doing this since 2011. And so around 8 years or so doing things like this face-to-face, and it worked. Okay, so what do we do? All right, so we apply concepts from a source text to an example, right? For example, we are given a journal article, perhaps on teamwork, what are the good points about teamwork? And then we give them a case study, and that's where they start to actively contribute relevant ideas. And we see their verbal and non-verbal cues. But of course, we are looking also at oral fluency and also control in grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Okay, and usually there are like maybe 3 to 5, depending on the size of the class and how it's divided. Okay, and of course, this is what everybody believes in. Okay, together we achieve more. And we all know the advantages. So I'm going to be quick here. All right? This is like very Speedy Gonzalez. All right. Okay. So of course we all know it helps learner. It gives them opportunities to develop their critical thinking skills, and it is like an enacted kind of simulated social atmosphere. Something they might get. They might learn. So this is all the advantages, and these are the 3 things that we do for. In the live teaching, we generate interest, we build fluency, and we promote critical thinking. Right. Now, that was the face-to-face. As we all know, and some of us are doing it right now, we were caught in the pandemic lockdown. We knew about it. In my case, I knew about it around 2 weeks because we decided to go online 2 weeks prior to MCO. And so we had some form of preparation, but nothing prepared me for the change in online discussion and the dynamics that were. So the next thing I want you to do is, if you can come here, all right, I'm going to ask you a question. The question is, which of the following is the crucial strategy to implement for online discussions to work? Is it the number 1, generating interest, building fluency, or the third one, promoting critical thinking? Which one really helped for the online discussion? Okay, I had one whole semester, one night, 20 weeks, 20 odd week to find out. Maybe I'll see what is your answers. If you all can go there, I'll just wait a while. Okay, we'll just see. Okay, we'll see. Ding, 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 ding. Now zero. Oh, okay. Remember, this is for online discussions to work. Which one did you think was the strategy that was most helpful of the three? Okay, 16, 17. All right. We have 42, so let's have a quick look to see 42 participants. Okay. Once we reach 30, around 30 votes, we'll see how it goes. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, let me give the answer. Okay, let me give what I found out. Okay. I'm going to stop the poll. I'm going to stop the poll for 28 people, so you can see, a majority is choosing generating interest, with maybe 24% is the middle one, oral fluency, building oral fluency, and around 14% is that. Okay, stop. Okay. So what do you think is the answer? All right. Okay. We found out that it was number one. Number one is the most important, generating interest. All right. Okay. Generating interest. And why? Why was it generating interest? Okay. And let's have a look at this. Okay. Let's look at the three things. What the literature says. Okay. Literature says that if you you didn't start out as an online thing, all right? Perhaps you got usually face to face, and then you come into online, you haven't met them before. For some of you, you have students who have been with you before the MCO, all right? But if it's, straight in is online, you have this problem of distrust, the problem of competition among learners, and a reliance upon the teacher for knowledge. And this is very Asian, all right? They want the teacher to tell you the right answer. So what happens is online, and we all know we have this barrier in front of us. I do not know how long all of you took, some of you took to migrate towards the online. For me, it took 2 to 3 weeks. After 2 to 3 weeks, it was normal for me to just talk to the screen and pretend you're all looking at me and I'm giving you all sorts of faces, all right? And my students have no reaction like what's happening right now. And because everyone's muted, you can't have everyone on. So that was the difficulty, and how to gain trust. So you have to do that. And research says that, online groups, if you group them together, they remain in the first stage. Means they remain in the stage where trust is unknown, knowledge is hidden. So they are like, quite squirmish among themselves. They look at you with some sort of distrust. So this was the first strategy: generate interest, which actually means that it is developing trust. All right. So how can I develop trust? And the first thing, develop trust is not among the members. You have to trust me. Okay. Like what I'm trying to do to you right now, you have to trust me, okay? And some of the things I do is very much Zoom based, because I use Zoom quite a bit, all right, quite a bit. And so I apologize for not being that great with Microsoft Teams, all right? I find it a bit difficult to work around. So the first thing I do is I show my true self, like what I'm showing you right now, okay? And in talking, one of my students did say this of me. He was Japanese, and he said, teacher, what is ayo? Because I keep saying ayo. Because online, you can hear all my expressions. It's like, oh my God, what's happening? So I said, what is ayo? So after a while, everybody knows it's ayo-yo, means it's terrible, okay? So what did I do to generate interest? These are 5 things that should be there. It should be fun. It should be techy because it's online, all right? It should be easy, something easy to do. It should be personal. It should be practical. Now, what are some of the things I actually do? And because in Zoom, you can see everybody at a go. One of the things I do, which if you're using Zoom, you can try it, all right? Now, I usually will switch off. Okay, I can't do it right now because I'm not that great with switching on and off with this Microsoft Team. I usually blank myself. I blank myself, and then I tell you this. I said, use your fingers. I said, what number do you think I'm showing? I said, so let's say I'm doing this behind you. So what number do you think I'm doing, all right? And then I said, are you all ready? I can see. I'm like, okay, done on it. Oh, I said, three of you got it correct. So you can now answer further questions. You got it correct. Okay, that's why your reward is you answer more questions. All right. And why do you think I put one? So I teach them to mind read. In that sense, the game mind reading. You can do it the other way. Another thing I usually do is that I ask them to, okay, vacate your screen. Means I don't see anything. So, okay, I want the first person to jump down and show me your tongue, all right, or wink, all right. Okay, so something like that, something to break the monotony, okay. And this is some of the things I do. I use Zoom, I use Facebook. So when online, I migrated to Facebook. I use Facebook quite a bit as well in live teaching. But when the pandemic came, Facebook became more, Messenger became more. To talk to them, Messenger, you can talk, you can video to them. And I use Google Drawings to give memes of myself or whatever, as you can see on the top right hand corner. All right, so they can see how old I am. Oh my God, I'm so old. I said, what can you tell about me? So they will say you're old. And then if you see the left bottom corner, I'll ask them, okay, is that my left eye or right eye? Same thing, always give like true, false. So that you can ask them to on off video. Off video for left, not on video for right, something like this, something easy to get them to know you. And if you have problems coming up with questions, go to what is written there, icebreakers.io. all right, they have many questions to help them with pair work, usually. And here at this point is either me and them, first me and them, and then what I do is I pair them up. In Zoom, you can put them in breakout rooms so they can go two at a time. And I give them very guided, very easy exercises. They can see what is that, so they don't feel that, they are put on the spot. So for example, a simple one is, I will ask them, have you been to Europe? And then B, answer will be yes or no, all right? And then C, why not? So they will just talk. I just said, you just have a very short exchange. After you become A, you become B. And then they come back into the class, that's it, and maybe someone wants to share something, all right? And of course, I sort of like mix them up now and then, all right? So that is the generating interest. And actually, I take quite a bit. It takes around 3 to 5 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks to sort of like, to reach that, okay, to reach some form of building trust. Now, and then the next part we do is building fluency, all right, building fluency. Now, a lot of I follow what you call it Paul Nation, and Paul Nation says this: the first thing you need to do, the principle is that you have to have 98% comprehensible input for listening and reading. All right. So if you don't have input in, how do you have output? All right. And as we all know, our students are already so fearful of output. I'm not sure. Generally, okay, I teach foreign students as well. So foreign students, especially the Japanese and the Chinese students, will not talk that much because they are fearful of making mistakes, shame, and everything. So I need to make things easy, okay? Easy for them, all right? So 98%. So you need to go in. What goes in will come out. All right. And then the next strategy I use is divide and conquer. All right. What do I mean by that? Of course, the goal is the greater whole, but we all know that learning process needs to be broken down in smaller pieces or smaller parts. All right. Pronunciation, grammatical accuracy, lexical accuracy, and pragmatic strategies means how to communicate in a group, and online in a group. And now that they don't see each other, and in particular, what the assistant will share in the chat, all right, is Sweller's theory on cognitive load theory. Okay, I subscribe to this a bit. So have a read at this. This is the latest one I'm going to put there. All right, after 20 years, instructional design. How you design your class and what you do really helps, especially our Asian mindset and online, Furthermore, I can't do much, I have no help, nobody to help me, I'm all alone. So what do? You put it in smaller pieces, divide and conquer. And not only the divide and conquer bit, I also cut the time. The teaching time needs to be divided and conquered. All right, don't teach for 1 hour, 2 hours, just yakking, or even activities. So I do like for 15 minutes talking, then I give them activity, they do it 15 minutes, or and make it. I have what you call it, after teaching for 2 weeks online, I found that even when I was doing that, it was around like 45 minutes or so of talking. So I changed my strategy to the timing to be shorter, and also I divided the class. Okay, we have the luxury of seeing them in the afternoon, all right, and in smaller classes. So I had around 26. So I divided them to groups I wanted to see, like, 6, 6, 6, 7, something like that. 6, 6, 7, okay. And I talked to them. So that's what I mean by divide and conquer. Divide and conquer their anxiety, whatever questions they want to know, all right. Another thing is, like I said, you need to have pair work, group work, and interchange them constantly. All right. So peer interaction can provide some kind of motivation to learn about people, but of course, 26 is easy to sort of like go round robin or something like that. It's supposed, and research shows it helps with learning outcomes. And once they get to know their peers, why we want to decrease distrust as well. And then when I teach, one of the things that, because like I said, I divide and conquer, so I do chunking. I do a lot of chunking. In terms of speech is chunking. So I use prepared text and I use chunking. Means I teach them what to say, how to say, very guided. So initially it's very guided, it's very model, and I've got many guidance, very guided things, they will do. It's like they're talking, after a while they get used to it, and then I don't give them the guidance, by like the 7th week, 8th week, not much guidance is there. I just tell you what to do, what I want to target. And after a while, you can see there's spontaneity. Spontaneity becomes to come into the picture, all right? At the beginning, of course, everyone is either they're the most obedient student in the world listening to you or not listening to you. But after a while, you actually get their ideas, all right? And I also practice what you call, when teaching them speaking, clause chaining. Means I teach them to try to speak in a clause, all right? It's chunking, but further down the line. More clause by clause, all right? So to help them sort of like teach them this is what is needed. Rather than, as we all know, the Asians, they would like to speak like that to you lah, all the time lah, very syllable also they want to pronounce until you don't know what they want to say. Okay, so I teach them chunking first, and then clause chaining, I call it. And this has to do with cognitive load theory as well. Next, task repetition. All right, some people say, oh my Tim, you keep doing the same task. Yeah, a little bit with some variation. Now, Bygate is the author. In 2015, in his research, he says that task repetition leads to improvement in fluency. And it's not limited to just speaking, in reading, in writing, in the same. All right. And just a little variation, For example, okay, the task repetition just now, I said that, have you been to Europe? So I said, why don't we just change the place? Okay, change the place, change the content, vary it a little bit. Changing of partner, doing the same task is fantastic. I can tell you that. By the second time or the third time they do it, they know what to do with a different partner. Okay, they are very good at that. And a change of timing, which I'm going to talk about it now. Okay, so part of to do is, initially I give them very short, when they're all very squirmish or don't know what to do, it's 1 minute. The practicing the fluency is like 1 minute, or even can be less, but I use 1, 2, 3, easy. So 1 minute, I said try to do it for 1 minute, the task. Then same task with a variation, try to do it now 2 minutes, and then I will lengthen it to 3. Okay, and after a while, like 2, 3 weeks down the line, I revisit that task. And this time around, I give them more time. I say, okay, 4 minutes. But instead of 2 of you doing, 4 of you do. All right. And after that, after they're good with that, I change the groupings. And then I say, now you have 3 minutes to do the same thing. This time the same thing. And you can see that they know what is supposed to do. They know what they're supposed to do. So now what's happening? From extending their vocabulary, now that they are going to decrease it, I make them to summarize, to sort of like to make their thoughts more concrete, though the same thing. All right. For example, discussing advantages and disadvantages of social media. All right. They know it, but now how to say it, within the time limit. And of course, I give them feedback that, oh, that wasn't a very good discussion. And of course, when I say discussion, is really short exchanges. All right. The actual discussion itself that we do is 16 minutes for 4 people, around 4 minutes per person. All right. So that is in semester. We have 2 modules, module 1, module 2. Module 1 is the building fluency, doing a lot of practice and stuff like that. The next thing, recorded and archive. Everything they do is recorded and archived. And this is where, for some of you, you can go crazy, like I did crazy, because I was in charge of speaking and discussion, speaking and discussing and listening. All right. So I went crazy because everything they did, I said, record, send it to me, record, send it to me. My email is just full of recordings, and I'm managing that, and I'm listening to it, and I'm archiving it. All right. Now, it is a good learning and teaching resource, but if you're not techy about it, maybe do it not so often, okay? And what I find was that when I have enough recordings and I talk to the students, all right, I usually use the recording not as a punitive measure, not to tell you how bad or how terrible you are, to tell them how well they have improved. I usually pick the things that they have improved, not the things that they are not doing well. So to give them, especially in module 1, to tell them, so you can do it. You see, you have done this. This is a short exchange. This is a longer exchange. You have done quite well. And when they hear themselves, sometimes if I tell you, you don't believe me, right? Okay, never mind. I said, let's listen. So evidence-based feedback. This is called, okay, evidence-based feedback. All right. So they listen to themselves, they know, yes, I have improved. I said, this is what you were at the beginning. This is where you are now, 6 weeks down the line. The next thing is, this is the part, personalized feedback. Personalized feedback, and I use, some of the things I use is I'm quite techy. So I will either record, you can record on your phone and send if you directly can do it. But I use Audacity, I use Loom, all right? For every teacher out there, LOOM, Loom is fantastic. Okay, it's like a screencasting thing. All right, it's great for both video, audio, whatever you want to use, and for reading and for writing. You want to tell them where they went wrong. It's great. LOOM, and you can apply for Loom Pro, and it's free of charge. Okay, so a little bit of a plug there, but I don't have any. I'm not affiliated to it. So sad. Okay. Now, I just want to give you a quick story on this personalized feedback. Now, I was doing this online teaching for the first time. So, and the discussion, we were doing a discussion, it was in a breakout room, 4 of them. And in my lesson plan, this from Monash College, they said you have to give feedback, good thing and bad thing, one good, one bad. Okay, good. So I told them. And right after that, I get an email. I get an email from one of the students, and they said, why did you humiliate me in front of everyone? Wow. So I have to sort of like, tell them the idea is the feedback is constructive. And of course, I didn't say I apologize, And that's the one thing that we do, my feedback. It's not just feeding them based on their performance. I also have to take care of them pastorally. Yeah. And this is where personalized feedback sometimes help. All right, so it has to be more gentle. I can't tell them things are difficult. Once difficult, they'll feel like end of the world. But in the end, this person did very well. All right. Okay. The next thing I do is peer review. What do you mean? What do I mean? There are 4 of them in the discussion group. So each one will monitor something different. They have recorded it. They recorded it, and I said, okay, you recorded this recording. Of course, this is in the second module, recorded in the second one. Now I want you to listen to your recording again and monitor pragmatic strategies, monitor for the timing, monitor for the discussion turns, and monitor for the application of the concepts that is used. All right. So 4 of them, they will do that. So you have internal in-group monitoring, so in group review. All right, they're telling each other, and usually we also have a rubric for them, a rubric which they write it down, and they will say all these things. And from there itself, I will also tell them, so what happened? Okay, later on I will talk a little bit more on this. And then we have modeling. Modeling in terms of Monash College have a few videos which they watch. On the YouTube, you have a few as well. You can look for them. I think it's how to discuss a topic in a group or something like that. All right. And so, and of course, like I said, I've been doing this for 8 to 9 years. So I have previous students' work. All right, previous students' work, and I just show them. I show them this is what happens. And I do not show full clips. I just show portions of it, ask them, okay, how do you do it? So they're able to watch their peers. They also watch their current cohort, current peers, and they watch other cohorts. So now, all right, I'm gonna let you think. Which one of these, for building fluency, which one of these do you think impacts academic performance the most? Which one do you think? All right, I'm gonna silent for like 10, 20 seconds. I know I've been talking like a train. Okay, which one do you think? The one that impacts most academic performance? Okay, if you have picked number 7, you are correct. Okay, number 7 is the one. Now this, I found this after I have finished teaching. All right, this is from Education Reimagine. You will, from the chat, you will see a link to see where to get it. This is from Microsoft Education with a collaborative partner. All right, so they say students want personalization. They want something personalized feedback. All right, of course, I'm not at the stage where I was able to give them all differentiated exercises, but to the level you are, I help you with that. All right. So students want personalized feedback. So personalized feedback will impact their academic performance. You know how they do what they do, and from what I can see from mine, we did a lot of personalized feedback in all domains. Okay, in all domains, you can see the students who wanted more feedback and interacted with us, they did better. Let's go to the next one. So the next part is the last strategy I'm talking about, which is promoting critical thinking. Now, promoting critical thinking is something that is part and parcel of teaching. It's not something apart. And whether you're online or not online, you need to sort of like put it in very simple things that can promote critical thinking. And what do I do? There are these are a few things that I do. Problem solving. All right. So I will tell them that an easy problem. Okay, something that they do. Okay, I said you have 2 movies on. Which movie do you want to see? Why? So this is the problem solving. I said, which movie would you bring your parents? Then I add in. Then I said, which movie would you see with a close, someone you want to be close with? All right. So they give answers like that. So something simple, always something simple, and something from the internet as well. Of course, concept application with the text given. For example, after I'm going to show you an example. All right, or what concept application. And then peer evaluation. Of course, when there's peer review, you think about it. You think about how to evaluate. You promote critical thinking. And because I also model the rubric to them, I said this is this. So I said in this case, would you give 3 or 4 or 5? So they will. Then I'll tell them the right answer. So it sort of like helps them. And the bonus thinking exercises you can find on the internet, very simple. Like for example, okay, tell me, I use movies, quite easy. Tell me a movie you hate. I will tell them you hate. So okay, so they said this is a movie they don't like. Okay, they didn't like it. All right, so right now I want you to list some of the advantages from this movie of going to watch this movie. What are the advantages? So it starts them thinking the other way around. All right, so these are some of the things to help them. All right, I said I will give you an example. Okay, one of the example which you can find on the internet is called 6 Lives Exercise by G. Richard Shell. He gives you six people there, which is written at the side there. You have a teacher, you have a wealthy investor, tennis pro, stonemason, banker, non-profit executive, and he says to you, rank them. Who do you think is most successful? So this is the first part. This is what you get on the internet. Okay, so if your class is students are not so high level in that sense, you can modify the script a little bit, modify them a little bit, and then let them discuss. And when I first did it, how did I do task repetition? Very simple. Rather than using 6 lines, I just gave them 3 lines. Okay, of these 3, I said, which one do you think were more successful? So they started yakking. All right, and then I changed them in the group. Give them another 3. Okay, 3 different ones. Then they start again. They talk. And after that, I gave them this. All right, I give the next part. The next part I gave them from Harvard Business Review. All right, Success That Lasts. They have they tell you what are the components of success. Okay, they tell you what are. So I go through this article with them. I said these are the 4 components. These are the things. Okay, right now. Then I give them 3 again. I give them the 3 6 slides. Okay. Now decide based on these 4 principles. So they begin to yak again. All right. And finally, one more. The 4th round will be the new 3. So everyone have an idea. And because usually when it comes, you give them a framework, then it locks them in. It helps them to sort of gather their thinking. But of course, there are still some who believe that, very, very straight up. So, but this is a discussion. No one's right, no one is wrong. So in a way, what happens is that I start with all these strategies, the recap. I try to get them to connect, to build trust among themselves, to be with me, to connect with me. All right. And from them, it goes to fluency. Means I tell them you need to teach them a lot. And that's where the guidance comes in, a lot of guided scripts and stuff like that. And finally, you see in the online discussion, there is cohesion. Cohesion means they're able to put all they've learned and they're able to put it in. Their weakest point from your online discussion, you will find is that if your students are weak in reading, okay, so the promoting critical thinking where they apply concepts, that will be weak. The communication part, the fluency part is not that great of a problem if you allow, like for example, they have errors. So meaning that errors that does not impede meaning, it is helpful for that. And so this is what happened. And most of my students did very well for the online discussions, the one we did. Usually discussion, face-to-face discussion, they do pretty well as well, because why? They're already quite cohesive by then. So they help one another. They help one another in the discussion. And even in the concept application, they also help one another. All right. So thank you very much. I managed to stick to my time like a rocket. Okay, so sorry for it. For rocket, anyone has any questions? I am going to unshare screen. Anybody have any questions? Now you can see that I look older.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
I'm Puan Suryati here. I'm from. Hi. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm a teacher in a secondary school. All right. So basically, my students are all considered as kampong students. Okay. My biggest problem is that because I'm quite new to the school. This is my 3rd year there. So their biggest problem is how to ensure that students have the have the spirit, okay, and the motivation to use English in their classroom and even outside the classroom, because they always tell me, teacher, we don't use English, we don't have the word. So I keep on telling them, you have to motivate yourself, but there are a lot of other problems as well. But my question is how to motivate them to see that English is not something difficult. All right, thank you very much.
I hear you, and I feel for you. I really feel for you in a place like this where everyone is speaking probably Malay, right? You know, and you know, they're not. And I've been to a place like that before. I mean, visited only. So what I can say is this: perhaps you have to give them what you call it very short phrases, English phrases. All right, English phrases where they can use repeatedly to say to each other. And one of the best way, I'm not sure you are keen on this, you can use some jazz chants. All right, if you're good with, even if you're not good with music, all right, you can chant. So helping them to chant, helping them, and you start in the class. And you start using the phrases that you have. All right, like for example, an easy thing, not that is the best to tell you, is like my ayoyo. Some of my students now will say ayoyo to me because I say it quite often. And I didn't know that. You know, until he mentioned to me, what is ayo? I said ayo. You don't know what's ayo? So you can tell them, and you can use. Do you have access to internet?
Sorry, we have problem with the internet. We can only access in the computer lab.
Okay.
Okay.
But even then, okay, you have your handphone.
Yes, definitely. Normally, I will use my own internet.
So sometimes you have to do that, and you can use, if your students are low level, there's a good 150 episodes, okay, from British Council. It's called the Flatmates. All right, it's
from the British Council.
British Council, BBC English, not British Council, BBC English. All right, the Flatmates, and it's very short, and they have short phrases there, and they have transcripts. So you can print those out and let your students sort of like go through them, you know, and of course pick the ones that they will say. And of course, when you want to get them excited, you know, they have to believe you. Of course, you have to speak in English, and you have to make it fun. Because what happens is that many times I feel that, you know, sometimes the students are not picking up because they see that it's not fun. It's all about punishment, all about reward, punishment, being punitive, you know, and I will tell you this was my problem. I sort of like, when face to face, I'm fiercer. So right now when I'm online, I realize I cannot be fiercer because they will catch different cues. They cannot feel my warmth going to them through the online thing, you know.
Okay, very true.
So all they hear is that, you know, when I say that, oh, why didn't you do this? All they feel is that you're questioning my integrity, you're questioning who I am, you know, and your why. So I will try. So remember just now I said the humiliating story. After that, I changed my way of dealing with them. I felt that, okay, remember, and this is one thing one of my professors, my directors tell me in Monash University. She is Professor Beverly, can't remember her name because she newly joined. And this is what she said, and I want to tell you how it helped us. She said, remember, this is not a real online teaching. Why? She says, why? He said, this is online teaching at home, where you can't go to the movies, you can't go talk with your friends, you can't go out to eat, you can't do anything, you can't do gym, you are locked down at home. This is not the kind of online teaching or learning that you get. She said, just bear that in mind. So with that, I sort of like, that by that time already learned, you know, whoever the student is, I just have to be nice and tell you that you can come to me, you know. So perhaps that's helpful for you. I'm not sure. Thank you for that question.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful.
Anybody else? No question. Oh.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes. Your name, please?
My name is Anita.
Yes, Anita.
Yes. So my question is, when you said you received thousands of emails with their recording sent, and I shared the same feeling. So I was thinking, having gone through that, is there a systematic way of recording and also archiving their information that after trial and error, you found that this way to work best? Because as for me, I found recording and giving feedback such a tedious process, especially when students don't leave their names and we have no idea who they are, and to have a checklist of who's done what. Oh, that was killing. Yes, it was. Yeah.
And how many students do you have?
I don't have many.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah, there's only about, say, 60 students, and the students who hand in their work are probably half or quarter. Yeah,
Okay.
but even then, we are encouraged to use multiple platforms because students might not have access to Flipgrid, and so students can actually send the recordings to my phone as well. So I have to compile all the recordings from my emails, from Flipgrid, from my phone, WhatsApp, which is, oh my God, yes. So I was thinking, was there a better way to get all this information?
Yes, I think the first thing is it will be helpful to narrow down your applications. All right. If you have too many, you will go crazy. I only make them do mobile and send it to me via email. And when they send it via email, if those who have worked with me will know, I'm a stickler for how you name your file. For example, how I make them name every file, every single file, whether it's written or whatever you're sending to me, that's how you name it. And I don't need email. They say, hey, hi, how are you, dear teacher? I just say, just put on the subject, the name of your file. For example, this is how I do it. I said, okay, put your name. First of all, the name, your short name, nickname, for example. So mine will be Tim. Underscore, let's say, for example, is something, a discussion about social media. So I'll tell them the tag is social media. Okay, social media. First time you send it to me. All right. And you can make it just SM. All right. So everyone sends Tim SM, Anya SM, Ampavalati SM. So I know definitely. So the administration, the logistics part, either they send it to you, or if they are more open, and after a while, that's what happened to them. I open up a Google Shared Drive. I said, you just put it there. You just put it there. And all of them are familiar with each, because they have been peer reviewing, they've been looking at each other's work. So there's no shame already. Yeah? So all will put it there. So it's easier. So after the first module, it becomes easier to manage. First module, like I said, you have to build trust. You have to build trust that when they send something to you, you will give a feedback, number one. Number two, it is nice feedback. This feedback is constructive, not to tell them, hey, you sound like a bad elephant with a bad cough, not that. So, so after you have built that trust with them, then maybe, and they have built the trust with their fellow classmates, then they can put into a shared drive. Now, even if it's not shared drive, they can, rather than you send it, let them put it in a folder in their own Google Drive, all right, where they share it with you. So instead of you administrating it, they will put their work into one folder and you access that folder from your screen. So that may be easier. Was that helpful?
Yes, very. I've never considered using Google Drive for speaking activities. Most of the time, we think we have to use some more sophisticated platforms like Flipgrid or like other recording devices. So that's a very good alternative to consider. Thank
Yes.
you.
Go Google Drive. Google Drive is wonderful.
All right.
And,
thank you so much.
you're welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Yes.
Hello.
Miss.
I'm Kit Wan.
Oh, Kit Wan. Hi, Kit Wan.
Hi. All right. I would like to know how do you deal with students who still remain very passive and squeamish, after some time?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. First of all, I can tell you real experience. Okay. We have three teachers. All three of us have only teaching fully online for the first time. I tell you, some of the students did not like one teacher. And you know why? I was telling the other teacher, I'm the coordinator, so I'm the one hiring, so I can say things like, I said, look at the teacher. I say, if she doesn't, the teacher, by the way, in face-to-face teaching, no problem, no problem at all, because they can see her, feel her, and do whatever it is. But online, I said, you just look at how when she has meeting, she has what you call, okay, hopefully you all don't mind me saying, RBF. resting bitch face. Okay, means the face is like that all the time. Yeah? And that's the reaction, and the voice is very strict. So the first thing is for online is smile, really smile, smile. Try to show more of yourself, more of yourself, and then smile, and then tell them, and then nod, and for those who are squirmish, it is good as well to start with having what you call it breakout rooms. Do you do Zoom, Kid One?
Hello. Yeah, I do Google Meet.
Oh, okay, Google Meet. So Google Meet, okay, so what you do, you can't have smaller rooms. So you let the people leave first. So you let everybody meet, then you have a chat. Now, when you chat with those who are squirmish, do not just alone with this person. When you first start, maybe 2 or 3, where you can sense, and then have an easy activity to do an activity first. Get the person doing, and the activity must come with a lot of what you call it, guidance, so that's what I do. And when I talk to the person, I ask them very slowly, and also because I'm also a student counselor. So I'm saying, oh really, so tell me. So I sort of like persuade, to get the students talking after a while. All right, that's what I do. Do you need to go somewhere, Evelyn? Do they need to go somewhere, Evelyn, now?
Yeah. Hi everyone. So unfortunately, we have to move on to Linktree Session 2 workshop now. So if you have any other questions, you can actually email Mr. Timothy. His email is in the chat box, so you can check it out there. If there are any other things that you want to ask, you can also ask them in the Facebook page of the SALS Facebook page, the Center for English Language Studies. So I think, Mr. Timothy, that's
no. Before they go, this is what I do for my students every class. Every class, so you can do with me. So I said it's the end of the class. I said, now you can pick up your hands, just swing it. I said bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye. See you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. You may move to Linktree now. Thank you so much, Mr. Timothy, for the session.
Thank you, everyone.